Such a weird Hollywood drama moment is going on right now. Succession के writers ने लिखा हो जैसे एक स्टूडियो छोड़ के दूसरा ज्वाइन करने वाला डायरेक्टर makes his best film so far for the studio he is about to leave. MCU versus DCEU में interested लोग, things just got a little bit more fun. Hey all, my name is Acharita. Welcome to my channel, जहां हम फिल्मों की और फिल्म बनाने वालों की भी बातें करते हैं. Today we're talking about James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, now in movie theaters. Now, there's no way for me to keep my MCU timeline straight at this point, because last Ant-Man I didn't even watch, and I'm almost certain I missed about 2 full series at this point. But from what I understand, this movie takes place very soon after the events of Endgame. Snap में गायब हुए heroes वापस आए, फिर गायब हो गए, लेकिन not Gamora for some reason, not important enough to get into. Peter Quill has become a heartbroken alcoholic, and उनके skull-shaped microplanet Nowhere पर वो बस time गुजार रहा है. When their land comes into attack from a flying golden man, Rocket is badly injured, and we find out why he cannot be treated the normal way. Ab Peter has a reason to get back in action in order to save his best friend Rocket Raccoon. He has to now find out what made him the way he is, Rocket, and where is the antidote to make him better. For those of you about to yell, "Don't tell story under the name of review" in my comment section, hi, no one cares.
I'm done running.
For the rest of you interested in listening to why I think this might be the best Marvel production since WandaVision, and I'm counting the new Black Panther in this, but not the Spider-Man movies because that's a whole separate thing. Let's go. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 works mostly because finally we have a film focused more on the internal journey rather than external. Yes, of course, we have a madman villain who blows up a planet on a whim, flies off into space in the ship the size of an entire neighborhood. Yeah. But that's not what the film chooses to keep front and center. At the core of it, this Guardians movie goes back to what had made it so popular in the first place. A group of outcasts coming together as chosen family. Doesn't matter why, doesn't matter what their objectives are. We're mostly interested in observing how living creatures with emotions and empathy change and evolve when they find community, love, and acceptance. And to get to the heart of this, James Gunn chooses a raccoon, a rabbit, a walrus, and an otter. The movie unapologetically and unashamedly keeps cutting back to flashback sequences when Rocket was a little raccoon being experimented upon, and his 3 closest friends upon whom the High Inquisitor has performed tests and trials, leaving them horribly disfigured. This low-hanging fruit works, friends. Every time you get a little dose of what life was like for these little pals, your heart gets attached to this film a little bit more. The manipulation works, and it works well. Listen, you have to be really dead inside to not be moved by baby animals. It could be the pup of the most ferocious predator known to humankind, but when you see a little thing unaware of their surroundings and the world, you will go, "Oh, I wish I had a baby T-Rex to play with." Yeah, you're not just getting tiny critters, but tiny critters who've been deliberately hurt by a human-looking person. Bad guy hurt cute baby. So that's one. But James Gunn also very skillfully steers your attention away from this life-affirming joy towards the question, what is the point of life? For whom do we live? Does one need to have a purpose? If you're watching this film on a particularly emotional day, which I admit I was for my own reasons, there are about 3 scenes that might bring you to tears. There's some potent stuff in here, specifically speaking to the well-rounded adult in you. This may be no Logan, where beloved characters get a very cinematic, artful send-off into the sunset. But all things considered, how most superhero movies recently have failed to connect with an audience at large on an emotional level, Guardians 3 is not afraid to wear its heart on its sleeve, questioning why the world even needs superheroes. The actors in this film are in on it. They're letting their performances show from the get-go that this is the last time they might all be together. Drax, Mantis, Nebula, everyone is more emotional than they have been before in this final outing. Groot even getting to say one line in English, breaking the fourth wall directly, talking to you, finally letting you know that you knew how to speak Groot all along. There was a little 45-minute Christmas special that also had a depressed Star-Lord, जिसके लिए Drax और Mantis Kevin Bacon को kidnap करके लाते हैं, वो भी आया था कुछ time पहले. Means they've been telling us for a while that nothing matters more in this subset of the Marvel universe than friendships. Evil villains will come and go. Thanos, who, what, huh? Chris Pratt sheds some of that weird pick-me energy Star-Lord had in that awful last Thor movie and allows some acting to shine through. Bradley Cooper's name needs to come up more often when we talk about the Guardians movies, क्योंकि Vin Diesel की एक line 50 अलग तरीके से वो बोलता है, which is hilarious. But considering Rocket Raccoon is kind of the main character character in this movie. It's weird why Bradley's never seen promoting this film. Or is he? Have I just missed it? Anyway, Guardians 3 is not cinema the way Scorsese would describe it. There are still dumb and dated superhero things going on, and too many characters with ambiguous powers you don't really care about or know which phase you're in, but it is successful in speaking to the residual of fandom left in you. If you were even a little bit invested in this group of people and their adventures, and if you remember Peter Quill and Mantis are siblings, go check this film out.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is 89P13. Before you leave, subscribe to my channel. This week, we've also talked about Sudhir Mishra's Afwah. I am still working on Saas Bahu or Flamingo. More on that later. My name is Sucharita. Subscribe to the channel. Red button right under this video. You know the drill. Thank you for stopping by.